Alright, so I realized what I was doing, which was pretty stupid. Um, so this formula here, right, has this mapping logic, and this mapping logic, for mapping one viewport onto another, it takes into account the bounds of the viewport, right? Because we're going to stretch and squash the viewports onto one another, right? We're mapping one viewport to another. And these values, we can't just, if we change these values, right, we're changing the size of the destination viewport to be like a lot larger, right? We want a source and destination viewport, but then we also want like the bounds of the entire canvas. And that's not what we're doing if we just kind of like commandeer these variables and just reset them to the canvas size. That's like, what the hell was I thinking? And that's anyways, so what we need to do is we need to comment this out for now, and we'll say for these variables right here, we're going to say like we have S and D. We could just use like C for canvas, right? So canvas x0, right? Like that. That might be okay. Right? Make sure, yeah, because these are S's, these are D's, C is for canvas, right? And this loop here, instead of doing this, like this, where we're looping through the destination, so that instead of the destination X and destination Y going over the destination viewport, we're going to go over the canvas. So we're going to change and dx is less than. Okay, so, and I'm just going to make a comment. Loop through every pixel of canvas instead of every pixel of destination viewport. And then, you know, we might want to change that later. But anyways, with that in place, now when we go to our code, when we go to our code now, if we refresh this, okay, so now we got that gradient as expected, and if we put back our blacking out code, so like right here, we should get what I expect now. So now let's go over here and refresh. Okay, so there we go. So we have our viewport that is sampling some data that's off screen, and any region outside of that viewport is just getting blacked out. So now we can like move around that view. We can move around the destination viewport, and it's still going to have the same data in it. Well, actually, let's just try that, right? So since we're here, let's try to move this viewport here. Let's try to move it somewhere else and see if it has the same contents in it, right? For a little sanity check. And then after we do that sanity check, I think I'm done here. And then, well, I still need to clean up the code because there's a whole bunch of trash laying around, like, you know, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let's find our viewports. So viewport 0 is the destination. So VP0 is the destination. So let's try to, because we're defining the viewport by like corners, we got to offset everything. So let's just try that really quick. So dot x0. Can we just do like, we can do a plus equal, and let's just try to offset everything by 100 pixels. Yeah. So let's cut and paste. X's and Y's, zeros and ones. Okay, so that should move our destination viewport diagonally down the screen a bit. So let's take a look at that. Let's refresh, and we should just see this move, but it should stay the same shape, and it should have the same colors in it. So let's hope that works. Excellent, excellent. Same colors. So now we can, we probably want to like center this. We probably want to make it wider. Now, remember that your source and destination have to have the same proportions. Otherwise, you're going to get stretching and skewing. All right, so we can actually demonstrate that right now. So let's go into the code, and let's skew this a bit. So let's make it wider than it is tall. So on the Y's, let's just not move the lower bound, right? If we don't move the lower bound, then we're going to get some stretching. We're going to get it stretched by 100, right? So if we look at this and we refresh, sorry, not only do I get my right and left mixed up sometimes, but sometimes I get my X and Y's mixed up as well. So we've stretched it on the Y-axis, so we've stretched it vertically, and now it's disproportionate, right? You've kind of like warped your lens in a way, you could say. So I don't want to do that. I never want to do that. I'm just going to put this back to 100. And now I'm going to refresh. Okay. So that's good. I think the next step now is to clean this code up. And since we worked off of some old code that we also have, we can take freedom to go through here, delete functions that are no longer needed, just do some housekeeping, right? Because we got a pretty good thing going here. We might want to like center this viewport. Maybe we want to get rid of the other viewports, right? Because I don't really find any use for those other viewports. I just want a source and a destination viewport. I think I don't know. I think having those other viewports might just lead to more complication than necessary. So I might just want to refactor it so I have two hard-coded viewports, a source and a destination. Yes, taking a step back, right? Like taking out some of the complexity and making it a little bit more rudimentary. Because do I really need... oh, there's the final thing there. Do I really need like a whole little package? Do I really need all of this? Because really all I need is a source viewport and a destination viewport. So I think maybe I should refactor this code and get rid of viewports 2 and 3, and maybe even get rid of this whole rectangle package thing. I'm gonna think about it, and then I'm gonna get back to it, and we're just gonna clean this code up a bit and center that viewport, and then move on to the next step, right? Because now that we have this mapping of off-screen data, we can, instead of rendering the pixel as a pixel, we can render the pixel as a tile, if that makes any sense. Like if you zoom into a bitmap, it gets pixelated. Well, what if you took that whole solid chunk of color, and instead of rendering it as a flat colored pixel, you rendered that very large pixel as like a tile? I don't know if that makes sense, but we're going to do it, and then it'll make sense. Or maybe it won't. All right, bye-bye.